Greetings, kind and gentle viewer. Well, it's almost Christmas. Goodwill to all men, when people gather around to give each other gifts and all that nifty good shit. So, I thought I would talk about some of the best gifts that the movie studios gave me all year. But before I talk about the best gifts they gave me, I thought I'd talk about the smaller stocking stuffers that they give me. I'd avoided all the Fast and the Furious movies due to the bad reviews they were getting, but when I saw the fact that Fast and the Furious 6 was getting pretty positive reviews, I had to see what all the fuss was about, and I'm glad I paid to see it, as this was an extremely fun and over-the-top action film. Arnie and Sly uniting to break out of a high-security prison. Sold. This was every bit as fun, cheesy and over-the-top as I was expecting. In the spin-off of the Jackass movies, Johnny Knoxville dons the old man makeup once more and reprises the Irving character. This was lewd, crude and had me laughing for the vast majority of the time it was on the screen. This latest collaboration between Wright, Frost and Penn wasn't as good as the previous collaborations they've done, but it still did enough to keep me entertained for the running time. And with that, those are the honourable mentions for 2013. Let's get started with the countdown. I've been a fan of this franchise ever since I saw the first one many moons ago. However, I still went into this with a sense of apprehension. It could have turned out to be a big dull dud. I was wrong. This movie was fun, smart, witty and scary in places and did a great job of tying into all the previous entries in the franchise. Let's hope there's a seventh. I'm Seth Rogen and his friend Jay attend a party at James Franco's swanky LA mansion. The apocalypse happens and those that are left are forced to band together to try and survive the end of the world. And hilarity ensues.
Or does it?
Yeah, hilarity did ensue. When I went to see this movie, I thought, okay, I'm going to go and see something that will kill 90 minutes. I wasn't expecting this to be the funniest comedy I've seen all year. And another thing I wasn't expecting was how brutal the deaths were in this movie. When people die, they fucking die. Seriously, if this had been a horror film, a lot of the deaths that were in this, they could have kept in. So, yeah, this movie was the funniest movie of the year and I wasn't expecting it to be so funny. The setup for The Conjuring is pretty damn simple. A couple who investigate haunted houses end up experiencing the most spooky paranormal shit they've ever seen in their lives so far. What makes this movie work is that it takes its time to build up the characters, mood, and tension. It doesn't rely on having orchestra stings to scare the shit out of people. This movie received a lot of hype when it came out and it was worth it. This is one of the scariest horror films of the year, and actually it's one of the scariest horror films of the past 5 to 10 years. I loved pretty much everything about The Conjuring. Pain and Gain tells the story of a trio of muscle-bound morons who are fed up of working at their local gym, so they kidnap a business owner so they can extort money out of him. When this was released, the reviews I stumbled across this were mainly negative. And I think the reason the reviews for this were mainly negative were for 4 words. A movie by Michael Bay. And it's easy to slate Michael Bay. After all, he made the fucking Transformers trilogy, which are 3 of the most loathsome films in recent times. But if you were able to divorce yourself from the fact that he was responsible for Transformers, I think you would find an extremely dark, witty and intelligent look at the American dream gone wrong. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I highly recommend a Michael Bay movie. I like this movie. Clearly I do. Why else would I have included this at number 6 if I didn't enjoy it? However, when Colin Farrell first came on screen, it was like, I'm the magical fairy! Will you help me, children, to free the land of the fairies? I thought, oh god, this is going to be a bunch of whimsical wank. This is going to be a long motherfucking sit. But the longer the movie goes on, the more we realise the reason that Colin Farrell is acting like this is to mask his inner pain and to protect his children from what a failure of a person he's turning out to be. He wants the children to have a normal childhood, and if they knew what kind of a person he was, they couldn't have a normal childhood. However, when the kind of person he is comes spilling out in the movie, it really affects P.L. Travers and it turns her into the bitter, cynical person that we see later on in the movie. This movie really snuck up on me and enveloped me in its world, its characters and its writing. I didn't think I'd like this movie as much as I did, but it shocked the shit out of me, and I think that Saving Mr. Banks is a great piece of cinema. When I walked out the second Hunger Games movie, I was underwhelmed. I didn't think it was terrible, but I didn't think it was brilliant either. However, the more and more I thought about it, the more and more it went up in my estimation. This pretty much took everything that was great about the first one and built upon it, while annexing the things that didn't work. This movie, once again, is a brilliant satire of vacuous celebrities and reality TV. And since both of those things drive me up one wall and down the motherfucking other, anything that takes those things to task in the manner in which this movie did is A-O-fucking-K in my book. Well, that concludes part 1 of my look at the best movies of 2010. Stay tuned for part 2. Hi, I'm Samuel Johnson, CEO and founder of www.learnlanguages.com, the internet's premium online video source for learning languages. Would you like to see an example of what our videos can do for you?
救急車を呼んでもらったからといって安心はできません。しっかりと自分の状態を相手に伝えましょう。
I have a bad case of diarrhea.
私はひどい下痢です。
I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea.
I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea. I have a bad case of diarrhea.
Don't delay, go to our site today. Welcome back, kind and gentle viewer. Let's not waste any more time, let's continue with the countdown. If you had a massive fetish for lens flares, then I'm sure you probably jerked off like a bazillion times to the reboot of Star Trek directed by J.J. Abrams. Yeah, I know, the world, its mother, uncle and cute little dog Sparky's had a go at J.J. Abrams' overuse of lens flares. But for me, that did very little to stop it being an action-packed sci-fi romp. So of course I was looking forward to seeing a second J.J. Abrams Star Trek movie, and what I got was one of the best summer blockbusters in a long time. It was smart, fun, had tons of action, and moved at such a breakneck speed that I was almost exhausted by the end of it. I'm pretty sure that the reason it moved at such a quick pace is so that I didn't notice any of the story's deficiencies. And if this did have plot holes, I didn't care, because when I'm having fun watching a movie like I did with this, I don't really get bothered by plot holes. I can't wait to see a third Star Trek movie by J.J. Abrams. This movie details the true life events that happened to Captain Richard Phillips and his crew when they were kidnapped by Somalian pirates in 2009. When this movie came out, everybody was praising Tom Hanks for his portrayal of Captain Phillips. I wasn't. Who the fuck said that? It was you in the back, wasn't it? Ow! That got the little fucker. Anyway, where was I? Another person who's been praised from every mountaintop that it's possible to stand upon is the guy whose name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce because I don't want to butcher it, who plays the pirate Captain Muse. This is the very first time he's ever acted in a movie, and if he's not nominated for a supporting Oscar, I will eat the Santa hat that I'm wearing. Captain Phillips is one of the most intense movies I've seen in a long time. Prior to this coming out, the one thing I kept hearing from everybody who was talking about Gravity was, you need to see this in IMAX 3D. And so, I did go and see this in the medium that everybody suggested that I go and view this, and I'm glad I did. It might have been expensive, but it was worth every penny that I paid to see it in IMAX 3D. Much like The Conjuring, Gravity doesn't have all that complex of a story. Two astronauts are stranded in space after an accident and must use their cunning and guile in order to get back home. Gravity is a phenomenal piece of storytelling. First of all, Sandra Bullock and George Clooney are excellent in this. Also, the visuals are the best I've ever seen. The way in which they blend CG with practical sets is mind-blowing. Also, the IMAX, like I said earlier, adds another dimension to this. Also, I loved how this was directed. The camera is constantly spinning and moving around the characters in order to really enhance the feeling of zero gravity. Gravity is one of the best event movies of all time, yet despite me heaping so much praise upon it, it's only in at number 2. What could have been better than Gravity for me this year? Well, I'm going to stretch this video out a lot longer than I need to by giving a countdown of what took up positions number 10 through 2. Number 10. Number 9. Number 8. Number 7. Number 6. Number 5. Number 4. Number 3. Number 2. After delaying it for far too long, what movie comes in at number 1? If you're from America and you're watching this, yes, this did come out in 2012 over there, but it didn't come out over this side of the pond until January, which makes it a 2013 release, hence why I'm including it on this countdown. Well, I already did a review for Django, so if you want to know my full thoughts on the movie, I suggest you watch that. So, I'm going to keep it brief for those reasons. I loved Django Unchained so goddamn much. It was over 3 hours, yet it only felt like an hour and a half long movie. The only gripe I have with Django Unchained was Quentin Tarantino's Australian accent. What in the name of fuck made him think that that character needed an accent? It would have been just as good if he'd used his real accent. Oh well, that's only the minorest of complaints, because the rest of Django was fun, dark, and epic. It was stylish, it was everything that I love about a Quentin Tarantino movie. Well, that concludes my look at the best movies of 2013. All that's left for me to say now is, Happy Christmas, have a great New Year, and all that cliched shite that's said at this time of the year. So, until the next time I flip on a camera...
That's all you get, jerks!
Fucking hell, Jake!
Shut up, phone. Shut the fuck up.